I want you to do a thought experiment for a second and think about how easy it is to control our kids' reality. I want you to picture yourself in the park for a second. Imagine you're at a park, perhaps I guess in this neighborhood, park you've been to before. You're hanging out, it's a nice sunny day. Let's make your child a boy for argument's sake, and he's 4. Okay, you may have to be going back in time for some of you. You're at the park with your 4-year-old, and he's decided to go into the sandbox. You weren't expecting sandbox play today. You've brought no sand toys. Bad parent. The little girl in the sandbox, she's got the bucket with the wheel and the shovel and the sifter, and she's having a grand old time in there. Your guy gets in. He starts to dig around for a bit, but he's eyeing her toys. He really wants them. She's not giving them up. He really wants them. She's really not giving them up. Finally, he tries to take them by force, and there's a struggle in the sandbox, and he grabs the bucket and he bonks her on the head with it. And she starts to cry. Okay, there's a real scene in the sandbox. Before you can react, imagine this. Imagine that another parent does. A parent perhaps who's closer to the scene. He jumps up and he addresses your child. Something like this. Hey, what are you doing? That's not okay. You made her cry. You can't just take her toys. Now give them back. That's not all right. Sits back down. All right. What do you do in this moment? In fact, I'm going to suggest a more important question is, how are you feeling in this moment? What's your emotional reaction as you watch this scene unfold? How do you feel in this moment? I'm wondering if you can, there's no right or wrong answers, not on the exam. What's your emotional response?
You get defensive.
Defensive.
Yes.
To protect.
Yes.
So a kind of back off, buddy, I'm the parent here. I'll do the parenting. Thank you very much. I know you're not alone with that feeling. It's a very common one. Yeah. Embarrassed. And I know you're not alone with that feeling. As if you kind of bonked her on the head with the bucket. Maybe feeling other parents might be looking at you. Nice parenting. Way to go. Nice kid. You know, there was a terrible time, I mean, the first 20,000 years of child rearing, I guess it's even longer than that, when children acted out like this, society would say, bad kid. We live in a society where when kids act out, we say, bad parent. And we feel that. Both of these reactions, the defensiveness and the shame, both tell you something. We are really identified with the parenting role. We really see ourselves as on the hook here. This is our job. And when these things happen, we immediately feel responsible and guilty. Those are very powerful feelings. So powerful that if you don't recognize them, they're almost guaranteed to do something to you. What are you going to do? You're going to get up off of that bench and get right into that sandbox, for sure. And do something like this. Hey, what are you doing? That's not okay. You made her cry. Give him back. Oh, right, you already did, because I'm reparenting. What's best for your child? Now, here there is a right answer. What's best? Well, I mean, it's a right answer assuming that there was a real misdemeanor. Here there was both theft and assault. So, yes. Okay? Okay, assuming there was a real misdemeanor, and assuming that the other parent was appropriate, I tried to do appropriate, okay? Assuming both of those things are the case, so he's really done something wrong and the other parent was appropriate, there's no doubt that the best thing for you to do is sit right in that bench. Maybe thank that parent later, okay? And let's think about why. Why is that the best thing? Because in the first instance, what your child just learned was, when I do dumb stuff, bad stuff happens. Natural consequences. This is actually how we learn. It's not how we mostly learn, it's how we always learn. This is how we learn about the world. We experiment, and some stuff backfires, and we go, right, don't do that. He's learning something in the real world. What does he learn when we get in the sandbox and reparent him? He learns, when I do dumb stuff, Mom freaks out. Dad freaks out. And instead of learning how to manage himself in reality, he learns how to manage you. And our kids are getting worse and worse. They're falling further behind in knowing how to manage themselves in reality. And they're actually getting quite gifted at managing us. We become the custodians of their reality. And when we do that, we interfere with their natural development. You want your kids to learn how to play in reality. Really, by the time your kids leave high school, I'd like to suggest you want them to have a particular attitude towards the big world out there. One which is playful, but wary. Playful, looking to the real world as a potential place for engagement, excitement, interest, and wary, realizing that if I'm not careful, bad stuff will happen. That's the anxiety piece. And this is where we have a bit of an epidemic, where we have more and more children who don't leave our homes with this playful but wary attitude towards the big world out there.